What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Waiver Wire Queen. Thanks for tuning in today. I see you guys aren't blowing any opportunities to get ahead of your competition by tuning in to get all the latest in fantasy football. We got you covered over here. Today we are going to talk about some wide receivers whose stock is on the rise, and a lot of these players' stock is on the rise because of various situations, mainly free agency and a lot of crazy trades that have gone on so far in the NFL. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoy listening to the podcast, check us out on Spotify, Apple, Google. Make sure you leave a rating for us. Make sure you rate us high, y'all. Anyways, let's jump right into it. So I've identified a few wide receivers whose stock is on the rise because of various things such as trades, better quarterbacks, throwing them the football this season, and free agency. There's been a lot of movement. It's been hella crazy so far. I know y'all know it's been crazy, but nonetheless, let's talk about Amari Cooper. Yes, traded to the Browns. I don't think anyone was expecting this trade, but when it occurred, his stock was on the decline. His stock was down because who the hell wants Baker Mayfield throwing the ball to them? Nobody. Not OBJ, Jarvis Landry probably, me, you. We don't want Baker Mayfield throwing us the ball, and we damn sure don't want him throwing any of our wide receivers or tight ends or running backs in fantasy football. We don't want him throwing the ball to any of our guys because you already know their stats are going to suffer. So when Cooper was traded, it was like, ooh, stock down. Everyone was trying to trade him. I traded him prior to the trade, and then I also traded for him in a league prior to the trade. And so with the trade for Watson, now I have people in the league that I still have him. They're knocking on the door. They're trying to get him, and I'm like, well, I have Watson, so it doesn't make sense for me to trade him because he's going to be one of my main guys. I have been trying to trade Cooper all season long, and everyone was looking at me like, we don't want him. But now everybody wants him, and that is how it is sometimes. Sometimes a player, their stock is declining due to various reasons, and just like that, blink your eyes and it's up. Well, having Desean Watson throw the ball to you opposed to Baker Mayfield is a big difference. Hell, even having Watson throw the football for you instead of Dak is a huge difference in my opinion. And he's going to be amazing. As long as Cooper can remain healthy, he should be good. He played 15 games last year, so it wasn't that bad. But his stats were down. He was a little inconsistent at times. Dak was inconsistent as hell at times. And, you know, CeeDee Lamb. He obviously outperformed Cooper. But nonetheless, Cooper is definitely going to see his stats increase. On the 2021 season, again, he played the 15 games. He had 103 targets, 68 receptions, 865 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. I love the 8 touchdowns. Under 1,000 as a wide receiver in today's NFL isn't good for us in fantasy. We want to see his stats go up to at least 1,200. I want to see 1,200 yards. Let's push that 8 touchdowns to maybe 10. We also got to realize the Browns are a run-first team, but that may change a bit now that you have a legit quarterback. So you may see more passing because now you have a quarterback you trust and know is going to be able to get the ball downfield and be accurate doing so. Because obviously, we already know what Desean Watson can do. And having a legit quarterback gives you the opportunity to increase your stats. I'm looking forward to seeing what Amari Cooper is going to do this season in fantasy. I'm expecting an increase in his stats as long as he can remain healthy, and I'm expecting him to remain healthy. So if that is the only issue that we have to consider, and that's for all players, you can expect Cooper's stock to increase. Right now, they really do need to add another wide receiver to that team, but definitely Cooper is the number one. He's going to see the most targets. Even if they was to bring someone else in, It's Cooper's world at the wide receiver spot, and you have Watson throwing the ball to you. So I'm sure he's excited as hell. Probably was stressing the hell out when he was traded and Baker was the quarterback, but that stress immediately turned to a big old smile and a hallelujah once they moved on from well, they didn't totally move on from Baker because nobody won him, but they technically moved on for him because Watson is going to be their guy. Baker right now is backing Watson up, and I think it's smart for them to hold on to Baker at least until they see what happens with Watson in regards to the NFL. Is the NFL going to, issue any punishment? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But then again, nobody wants Baker Mayfield, especially if they allegedly wanted a first. Not giving no first for him. Shoot. Last pick. That's what you're going to get. The last pick in the last round. Nobody giving all that up for him. But at the end of the day, for Amari Cooper, stock all the way up. He should be impressive this upcoming season. Let's talk about one of my favorite low-key wide receivers, Jameson Crowder. That's right. Signed with the Beals. He moved. He went upstate. He left us downstate in the city, and he went upstate to the Bills. Obviously, when you have Josh Allen throwing you the football, you're gonna be excited. And if you have him in fantasy, you get excited. When the Bills signed him, I went and kindly picked him up, and now I have people in my dynasty league wanting to trade for him. Right now, I have an offer for a third round pick. I think it's like pick 308. I'm going to hold on to him. Now, this team is obviously in rebuild mode for me, but I'm still going to hold on to him just to see, how things go. Maybe able to get something better later on in the season because I expect his stats to increase. Again, there's a big difference with Zach Wilson and Josh Allen, okay? And then you also got to realize Stephon Diggs is in the building. So you got Stephon Diggs on the field, and then you got the incredible Josh Allen. You got opportunities. You will see the football. As long as he can remain healthy. The last 2+ seasons, he's been injured, just unable to be healthy. And I always say it, guys, health is wealth. Availability is the most important thing. If he's unable to stay healthy, then it will be pretty much of what he's produced over the last 2+ seasons with the Jets. But if he can remain healthy, he will be a part of what they do. The Bills have moved on from Cole Beasley, haven't re-signed Emmanuel Sanders. Maybe he's going to retire. We don't know. But I like what they're doing out there in Buffalo. To start the season, going into training camp, their wide receivers should be Davis, Diggs, and Crowder. Those are the three main wide receivers, and then they'll add some other ones that they have. But at the end of the day, this is great for Crowder. Again, you're getting a top 5 quarterback throwing the football to you. That is great for us in fantasy. So if you can pick him up, pick him up. He's most likely on waivers. You're not even going to have to trade for him in most leagues because he's probably on waivers, and you can get him late in a draft. You don't have to go and reach for him. Don't do anything like that, but you definitely can pick him up. So if, say, you decide in your Superflex redraft, you draft Josh Allen, but you can't get Diggs, there is nothing wrong with going and getting Crowder late because I do expect him to be very, very productive with Josh Allen, okay? He simply is. You're playing with a top 5 quarterback. Actually, you're playing with a top 2 quarterback. That's right. Josh Allen, top 2. And you're playing with a top 10 wide receiver. He'll be playing the slot position. 2021 season, 71 targets, 51 receptions, 447 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was disastrous with Wilson being a rookie and also with Crowder being in and out of the lineup. It was just a hot mess. Going on over to the Bills, I expect him to have a really good season. So you can pick him up in a draft late in a redraft league, or if you're in Dynasty right now, you can pick him up off of waivers. Let's talk about Robert Woods. Traded from the Rams to the Titans. This is a good move for several reasons. Obviously, it's a good move for Robert Woods. You got your ring. Now you get a fresh start with the Titans. Obviously, he suffered a knee injury early on during the 2021 season, so he has to obviously come back and get healthy and show that he can be healthy. I expect him to do so, and he's going to benefit from playing alongside A.J. Brown. The Titans obviously are a run-first team, but that hasn't stopped A.J. Brown from being really good, and it shouldn't stop Robert Woods from producing for your team. Now, you don't have to reach for him in any drafts or anything like that, but he's definitely going to be a good player to consider late. I think a lot of people are not necessarily checking for him due to some question marks about the health. Again, I expect his knee to be fine. I'm hoping for that. We all know it's going to be good. He should be good to go unless there's some setbacks. Haven't heard anything about any setbacks. So, again, you'll continue to monitor that and check for that. He only played the 9 games because of the knee injury. And, again, the Rams weren't even utilizing him as much to start the season. They started picking it up for a few games, but it just wasn't working. And so, again, he gets a fresh start simply for that. And we're going to hope that Tannehill can get him the ball as well. Again, A.J. Brown hasn't had a really good wide receiver in their prime playing alongside him. Now he's going to get that. So I think they're going to complement each other. And that's going to work. So on a season, Woods, 69 targets, 45 receptions, 556 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. Again, if he comes back full strength, healthy, I don't see it impossible for him to at least hit 1,000 yards. Again, they are a run-first team, but they're going to be throwing the football. And if A.J. Brown is being double-teamed, then guess what? Robert Woods will benefit from that. So don't be afraid to take a chance on Robert Woods. Let's talk about the wide receivers on the Broncos. 2 in particular. Let's start with Jerry Judy. Obviously, Jerry Judy's an Alabama wide receiver. He's supposed to be great. He is, but it's hard to tell, right? Yeah, it sure the hell is, because he has had Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater the last year and a half or so throwing him the football. No. Hard to produce. And plus, he was injured a lot during the 2021 season. The Broncos traded for Russell Wilson, so Jerry Judy's stock should be high as hell. We get to see if Jerry Judy is really that guy. The Broncos invested in a legit quarterback, which they need. You have all these offensive weapons, but you don't have a legit quarterback to get the ball to them. Now they do. So let's just see how good this young Alabama wide receiver is, who is very good at running routes. No rookie season, had some issues with drops. And then when you look at the percentage of his targets versus his receptions his rookie year, it wasn't great at all. But a lot of that was horrible quarterback play, overthrowing the ball, throwing these passes that who the hell's going to catch him? You couldn't even fly and catch the damn ball when Drew Lock was throwing the ball because he was so inaccurate. I don't know what Seattle see, but I need to put my glasses on to see what they see. I still won't be able to see what they see, but nonetheless, that's their problem now. At the end of the day, Jerry Judy should easily go over for 1,000 yards with Russell Wilson. On the 2021 season, again, only played 10 games, 38 receptions, which isn't much, but again, missed quite a few games with that ankle injury. But early on in the season, him and Teddy had a nice rapport going that they were building on. But at the end of the day, I want Russell Wilson throwing the ball instead of Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock. That's just what it is. 467 receiving yards, no touchdowns. That is just highly unacceptable. But we'll see the change this season with Russell Wilson. Right now, you may be able to get Jerry Judy on the cheap. You can possibly get him on the low because a lot of teams are down on him. And they've been down on him the last 2 seasons. I actually tried to trade him in one of my dynasty leagues, and it was a no. It was a no. And now, some people are starting to, inquire about him. But now I'm going to tax him because I already know what his potential is. And I know when you add someone like Russell Wilson to that team, he's definitely going to meet and exceed the expectations I have for him. But 0 touchdowns is highly unacceptable. I'm going to need to see at least 4 touchdowns. I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna predict. Waiver Wire Queen's gonna predict that Jerry Judy's going to have at least 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns on the 2022 season. He may obviously shatter that and go for 1,300 yards. We'd love to see that. But you also have Corlyn Sutton, who stock is up now that Drew Lock has left the building. Mainly Drew Lock. They were trying to hold on and trying to, it wasn't going to work. And then Teddy's also gone too. But nonetheless, Corlyn Sutton, had that knee injury. So I felt like this season was a season to kind of get back into things. I was surprised that he had 776 receiving yards. I didn't even expect that. Once I looked at the stats, I was like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought considering all of the factors. Horrible quarterback play, just not good at all. And then the fact that he was just returning back from a serious knee injury. Well, we all know Cortland was really good the season before he suffered the major knee injury. And again, it was a struggle at times because of poor quarterback play. That has been the issue for the Broncos. We're gonna see a change. Obviously, we're gonna see a change. He had 58 receptions and then 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna say that Judy and Sutton are both going to go for over 1,000 yards and at least have 4 to 5 touchdowns apiece. I expect one of them to have slightly more. So I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say Corlyn Sutton will have a few more touchdowns than Judy, but both of these guys' stock is up, and both of them should play very well with a legit quarterback. Let's talk about Allen Robinson. I've been feeling bad for Allen Robinson, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and leave some comments. But again, I've been feeling so bad for Allen Robinson. It's been tough. The last few years, oh my God. This past season, 2021, was tough as hell for Allen Robinson. Rookie quarterback, just really not that great. Didn't play much. Looked like he wasn't truly a part of the offense. Now you sign with the Rams and you have Matthew Stafford throwing you the football. I expect him to have a very, very good season. I'm hoping that they don't give him the Robert Woods treatment that Robert Woods was getting early on, where Stafford was only throwing the ball to Cooper Kupp. That was just it. He had tunnel vision. It was just Cooper Kupp. I nobody else on the field but Cooper Kupp. Turns Cooper. Right? Cooper Kupp. I mean, come on now. Very impressive season for Kupp, but at the end of the day, you got some other weapons you got to get involved. So I do expect Allen Robinson to have a really nice bounce back year. If nothing else, you have a better quarterback getting you the football. They've invested in him in free agency. So I expect him to have a much better year. I mean, if Allen Robinson was to come out in 2022 and give us 800 yards, that would be fine. Considering 2021 season, it was a disaster. Again, 410 yards, 1 touchdown, 38 receptions. Not good. And then you got to think, he was the number 1, but now Mooney obviously is. And Mooney's another one. Woo! Very impressive. He is the number 1 over there. So if you can get him, get him. My brother, the Black Hand, has been trying to get Mooney in the trade since he just traded for Justin Fields, but I am holding out on that trade. But yes, with Cooper Kupp playing alongside Allen Robinson, the last few seasons, there hasn't been any other good wide receivers on the Bears. But now he's playing with Cooper Kupp. You're in a very good passing offense. I expect him to get the ball. I'm not going to say he's going to go for 1,000, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did. So I'm going to put him in that 800 to 900 range. And again, I'm saying that from 400 to 800-900, that's very good. That's I'm pleased with that, because this past season, teams were dropping him. I was in redraft leagues. They were just dropping him because they were like, ugh. And you could have probably traded Robinson you were going to trade him for pretty much nothing because his stock was so low. But now that stock is up. And if you can get him, go on and get him, because I expect his season to be much better than this past one. But 400 yards you ain't got nowhere else but to go up, y'all. You just simply don't. All right, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave some comments and let me know if we got it right. And also let me know what players at the wide receiver position you feel their stock is on the rise. Make sure you go on over to Spotify, Apple, Google. Rate us high as hell so we can keep giving you that great content. Y'all have a great evening. Peace.